Hi everyone, welcome back. And today we are going to understand the types of sentences. So we'll go through the four basic types of sentences in which all of our sentences are divided. For this one, I'm not going to cover the simple, complex, and compound, but I'm going to go to the basics of definition of sentences and understand how we can construct different sentences. I'll take you to the next slide. Okay, let me get the pen. Now, what is a basic sentence? Now, a sentence expresses a complete thought and conveys meaning. So, these are the two things which you must have. You should have a complete thought, and for the reader, it should convey the meaning to them. They shouldn't be left guessing that what's the meaning, what's left out, how can I complete this sentence. No. So the meaning should be easily understandable by the reader. Now, depending on the intent, sentences are categorized into four types. We have declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory sentences. And one by one, we are going to understand all of these four types of sentences. So let's start with my particular favorite because they're the most easiest to analyze and easiest to identify. So these are known as declarative sentences. As the name suggests over here, these are the sentences when you declare something, when you tell something to the other person. So very simple and easy definition. These sentences make a statement or express an opinion. Now you can include your facts, you can include your opinion, and you can include anything which is fairly regular and happens on a day-to-day basis. For example, the sun shine. Here it is. The sun is shining brightly. So that's the present continuous tense. But if you want to pick up a fact that happens every day, for example, the sun rises in the east. Now that's a fact that happens every day. It is a recurring fact. So you can write it in the form of a declarative sentence. Another one is she has three dogs. Again, a fact. So we are declaring something, we're telling a fact. Our family went to the zoo on Saturday. So here's where students get confused. Now, if something is written in declarative sentence, does not mean that you cannot include the past sentences. You can do that. So, tenses are independent of the structure, and today we are learning structure of sentences. So don't get confused. However, you do have to take care of the punctuation. So in declarative sentences, they end with a period or a full stop. So if you have written a sentence but you don't put up a full stop, you're going to lose marks over there. Okay. Next is interrogative sentences. Again, very easy. Now, these sentences ask a question, and they are again by far one of the most easiest sentences to identify because you can always spot a question mark at the end of interrogative sentences. So they always end with a question mark. Let's see some examples. So, are you coming to the party? Have you ever been to New York? Why did she not do her chores? So it can be basically anything. Where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you not here? Why are you there? Any particular question, we regard it as an interrogative sentence. Okay. Next is an imperative sentence. Now, this is where the game gets a little bit tricky. Now, you have to pay some extra amount of attention to differentiate between declarative and imperative sentences. And this is where students get confused most of the times. Now, let's learn the basic definition. So, these sentences give a command or make a request. Simple. So it can be a command, it can be an order, or it can be a polite request. But the intent of these sentences is that you ask someone else to do something. Maybe for you, maybe for others, but it always has an intent of doing something or getting something done from the other person. So they often start with a verb and end with a period or an exclamation mark. Now, this is something which we will study in the next slide as well. An exclamation mark can again be a tricky point for you to differentiate between the sentences. But let's stick to imperative for this one. For example, please close the window. Don't talk during the movie. Bring me the newspaper. So here you're telling someone to do something. Maybe you want something or it's a general request. But most of the times it ends with a full stop. Now, when will it end with an exclamation mark? When someone emphasizes on the particular command. Now, instead of this one, instead of please close the window, if the sentence was close the window right now, and then there was an exclamation mark, that shows emphasis that this command is urgent and needs to be done right away. Okay, but if you see an exclamation, you have to be careful, because as we noticed in the previous one as well, in imperative as well, you can use the you can use the exclamation mark. But again, when we have the exclamatory sentences, we are bound to use this punctuation mark again. So what's the difference here? Now, in exclamatory sentences, these sentences express strong feelings or emotions. In the previous slide, it's just an add-on when we want to show emphasis to that command. But particularly when any strong feeling or emotion is included, then we have to use an exclamation mark. And they always end with an exclamation mark. So, some examples. What a beautiful day it is. Wow, this cake is delicious. How amazing the view is. So, it depends on the placement of exclamation mark as well. Sometimes if you're using the particular word which gives emotion in the front, then you're going to use the exclamation over there. For example, if it says, bravo, you did a great job, then exclamation mark is going to be after bravo, not at the end. At the end, we'll just put up a full stop. Okay. So these were the 4 different types of sentences. I took you guys through the basic definition so that you are not confused. So whether you are preparing for any examination or you're preparing for your school exams or college exams, these are the basics which you should not be confused with. Now, speaking of confusions, I'll take you through some of the common mistakes. The first one is mixing declarative and exclamatory sentences. So we have an example over here. Now, if we say she is happy and we put an exclamation mark, so it is an incorrect sentence because it is a declarative sentence, but the punctuation is wrong. So we have to remove the exclamation and we have to add a full stop instead. So here the correct sentence will be she is happy and then full stop. The next one is using improper punctuation for interrogative sentences. Now, this is where a lot of students make a mistake. If you're writing a question and if you forget to use the question mark, then you're going to lose marks over there. For example, the incorrect would be, what time is it? Now, we know it's a question, but we shouldn't use a full stop here. So the correct form would be, what time is it? Then question mark, so that we complete it with the punctuation. Another one is forgetting the subject in imperative sentences. Now, this is not a common mistake, but be careful about it. For example, close. So, imperative sentences are the ones where you give the order. So, again, your meaning should be clear. Even if your intent is to get some work done by someone, you need to tell them what exactly you need to get done. So, here the correct one would be close the door. So you have to add the complete information so that the receiver also understands that what he or she has to do. Then misusing exclamatory sentences for ordinary statements. Like I said, exclamatory sentences are where you attach some strong emotion or you have to give emphasis on a particular feeling. But we cannot use it in any sentence where any strong emphasis on emotion is not there. For example, I bought milk and bread today. Now that's a regular information and we don't want an exclamation mark over here. So the correct one would be I bought milk and bread today and then period. So it's actually a declarative sentences. So if you mess up with the punctuation, it's neither a declarative sentences nor an exclamatory sentence. Okay, so be careful about it. That's basically what we did in this quick video. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comments down there. And since it's a new channel, give it a thumbs up, share it with other people, and reach out to my credentials if you want to know anything else regarding our work. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.